So, hi, Nikki. Hi, Undone fam. I'm so excited that you guys are back with me. I'm excited to be back. And today we have a very, very special guest. Today we are joined by founder and CEO of Buy from a Black Woman, Miss Nikki Porcher. Nikki, how are you?
I'm good, Ashley. How are you doing?
Listen, I'm good. I'm happy to be in the presence of you today.
Stop.
Nikki, show them your nails. Show them your nails because they're matching my outfit. Look,
They are. They are.
I love
Yes.
I
Green
love
is
it.
my favorite color. Money green sofa. Yeah.
That's why you created Buy from a Black Woman. Listen. Okay, so I asked you how you are, but like, how are you really? How's everything for you? How's your day been today?
Yeah, no, today's been exciting. Always get to hang out with Black women. So that's always my favorite part. It's the fourth quarter. So just getting things in order to close the year, but to start the year strong and making sure that Black women are seen, heard, and supported again during the holiday season. So that takes a lot of advocacy work, a lot of seed plantings for trees you'll never sit under, and just things that you just have to be okay during the holiday season on top of, I am a mother. My son, his birthday is this week. I won't be with him for his birthday. I won't be with him for the holidays because he's an adult now, and adults make their own decisions. So dealing with that as well, among other things. So but all in all, I'm good. I'm blessed. Staying positive and testing negative. So things are good.
I like that. Staying positive. Okay. Drop a word at the beginning. Say that. I like that. Say that again.
Staying positive and testing negative.
Period. Listen, look, I'm taking that into 2024 with me. Okay. Speaking of fourth quarter, 2023, as we all know, comes to an end in a few weeks. What's been your biggest lesson so far this year? What has 2023 taught you?
That community is really important. Like I've already known that, but my community really has shown up in those spaces that I was unable to get into, saying my name in places, asking me, something just as simple as how can I help, and genuinely meaning it, and then helping, and just all around me being able to be more for my community as well. So the thing is, community is how we started, community is how we will continue. So that's my lesson. We're just like, make sure you have a good community, because with that, anything's possible.
I love that. I love the quote that I've been seeing floating around. Get you somebody that will mention your name in a room full of opportunities, that will just say your name, because that will open the doors to other things, right?
Right. And it's just funny because, but Buy from a Black woman, we have negative stuff, but it's far and few between, right? So all I know is that Black women show up for each other, Black women support each other, and there's a community of people who are not Black women who also support Black women. This is what I know to be true because I see it every day. So those are the people who are saying names of business owners in rooms, who are buying from them, who are recommending them for the holiday shopping, their Christmas parties to friends and family, just from a glance they saw in a place or something like that. So that's why community is super duper important. And it's like, that other quote, like your network is your network. Like that's true, right? The people you hang out with are going to influence a lot of the things that you do, whether directly or indirectly. So making sure you have a good community around you that's going to influence you the way that you want it to be.
Community, y'all, get a good community behind you. Now, Nikki, I feel like your story is one of the pivot, right? I feel like you've held down many different jobs and roles. You are a decorated veteran. You were a teacher at one point. You've ran marathons. But if there was one word to describe your journey, and now you're a founder and CEO of Buy from a Black Woman, which we're going to talk about, and we're going to say that a lot during this interview, guys. So get into it, Buy from a Black Woman. But what is one word that you would say that best describes your journey thus far?
Ridiculous.
Oh,
I would use that word because it's when you write it all down, or you see it, or you hear it, it sounds ridiculous. And there's a quote where it was like, I want my life to sound so ridiculous that other people believe that anything is possible. So that's where I'm at with it. Like, okay, if this is my true life and this is how I live, and there's just all these things where you could not believe that that's happening to one person. Imagine if you actually follow through with your dreams. How ridiculous would your life be? How crazy and outrageous would you be able to live free of, judgment free of what any other people think your life should be. Like, so just live in a ridiculous state. So ridiculous.
Look, community, positive, not negative. Baby, you dropping, this is dropping all the gems. Community, listen, ridiculous, live a ridiculous. That's a book, Nick. Ridiculous, live a how to live a ridiculous life.
Yes, I like that, Ashley. I like that. Oh, I like that.
Listen, let me write the forward.
You got it first.
Yes. Okay, I love that. Take us back to the time in your life when the idea for Buy From a Black Woman was just an idea. Where were you? What was the space for you? What space were you in at that moment? Just take us back to when it was just an idea before it became what it is today.
Yeah, so I was heading to Florida to run a half marathon. I'm running a half marathon in every state. See, ridiculous, right? I'm running a half marathon in every state. So that's my goal. And that's how I'm traveling and seeing places that I would never visit. So at this time, I was going to Florida and I had missed my flight. And I was very upset that I missed my flight. And so to make myself feel better, I went shopping. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go shopping because retail therapy is the best therapy for me. So I went to this marketplace of some sorts, and there were no other Black people in the room, especially there was no Black women. I was the only one present, which was just odd because this was in Atlanta as well. So I'm looking, and these are people who are selling items that look familiar because I know Black women business owners who sell similar items just like this. And there was this one woman in particular, she had lip balm, but she had sold out of the lip balm. So she was just collecting emails. And this was really my first time knowing what email marketing was to, B2C, to business to a consumer. Cause I was just like, so what, she was telling me this process and everything. And I was like, well, I know Black women who are doing stuff like this, but they're not charging these prices. They're not selling out like this. They're not even in the room here. Maybe this is why I missed my flight. Maybe this is why, so I can have this experience so I can do something about it. So like, all right, well, I'm like, I'm going to start, buying from Black women business owners and sharing it. But what can I call it? I'm going to start this blog and be a blogger because my real job at the time was just so unfulfilling. So I just needed more, was looking for more. So I was like, what I want people to buy from a Black woman, but how do I tell them to buy from a Black woman? I was like, And I was like, well, maybe I just call it Buy From a Black Woman. Let's see if that works. And I went on GoDaddy. And of course, this is 2015. So like this concept is like not even real. This concept at the time was ridiculous. So, so nobody was checking for that. So I went and I purchased like all the domains. And it started off as me just blogging, where once a week I would buy something from a Black woman and I would share what I bought. And I would ask people who were reading the blog, like, well, did you buy from a Black woman this week? Let me know. And the blog was taking off. So then I started the social media pages to share and advertise the blog, right? And Black women found the blog and they were like, hey, I found your blog. Could you list my business? Hey, I love what you're doing. Can I send you this? Hey, can I just send you $20? This is amazing, sister. Keep this going. And I was like, well, I don't want to take people's money. And I don't want people just sending me gifts, like just sending me their products. Like that's not who I was and what I am. And also I called it Buy From a Black Woman. So I have to buy from you. So, like, don't just send me the stuff. And to this day, I'm very hesitant with gifting for, exchange of social content and stuff. Like I get it as the currency, but I'm very careful with that because for me, Black women deserve to be paid. So anyway, with all this is being said, I'm like, well, this probably can be something because people are spreading awareness about what I'm doing and people want to send money and support what I'm doing. That's a nonprofit. That's a mission. That's a community of people who I can serve and pour back into. And these people who are trying to do in-kind gifts, who are trying to donate money, I can actually put it back into the community. So then that's when I started the process of forming it into a nonprofit.
Wow. Since you've launched, what challenges have you encountered and faced?
Yeah, many. One, I'm a Black woman in America who's trying to support Black women in America.
Period. That is period. That's it. That's the challenge, right?
So like everything that comes with that. the funding, the awareness, the aggressiveness. I'm a dark-skinned Black woman, I'm a dark-skinned Black woman with lavender hair. So like, who has like bright green nails. So like, now trying to have to get over all those barriers, because I'm still going to show up as me. I'm still going to be me. Prior to this, I had my fro. I wore my fro. So now here's this militant dark-skinned woman who has a fro. Or when I had my head wrap on, now she has a head. All these things before I can even share what the mission is about, the people we helped, or what we're doing. I have all of this as a challenge before anything else happens, on top of the fact that when you type in my email, it says "buy from a Black woman." So it's a call to action, it's a direct call to action. So now it's aggressive to certain people who can take it a different way or who don't understand. And again, this is like in 2016, 2017, when this was a foreign concept. What we see today, as far as people helping Black women business owners, people helping and want to support Black-owned businesses, was ridiculous to think about in 2016. And I know this because I got hate mail from both Black, white, Puerto Ricans, and Haitians about buy from a Black woman, both men and women, just like everything, because it was just so out there. And now, it was amazing. I'm going on a tangent, actually, so stop.
No, I want to hear that.
But it's amazing because I'm keep having this conversation as we approach 2024. Like I said, it's Q4, so I'm talking with Black women business owners and the stuff that they've had to endure this year compared to the last 2 years when there was so much performative help, so many people who wanted to support Black businesses, who wanted to support Black women, is dwindling down, and it's just very disheartening because all these economics were on the uptick are now falling even harder because they were preparing to keep rising, and it's just dry. So the challenge is being a Black woman who wants to support Black women in a state, in a country that does not believe Black women are the blueprint when everything tells them that we are.
Oh my God. And so, Nikki, what has kept you going? Like, what has been the thing for you that has sustained you through the hate mail, through the adversity, through the rejection? What has been the thing that has sustained you?
Ironically, that I get to wake up as a Black woman and help other Black women business owners be seen, heard, and supported. Like, that's my job. That's what I was chosen to do. I get to talk to beautiful Black women who are doing amazing work like yourself. I got to hang out with another Black woman today, and we went to 4 different stores and found Black-owned, Black women-owned products on the shelves. And like seeing that and knowing what that does for other people and sharing that information and knowing how that's going to shift some households. Like, this is what I do for a living. I was chosen to do this work. So that's what keeps me, because one is purpose work. If I can't say that, I believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. If I don't believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. So I walk in that. I'm able to do that. I'm able to share that with other people. I'm able to share other people's stories. So like, that's what keeps me going. Like, knowing that there are Black women here. And as long as I have to go, we're going to make sure that you all are seen, heard, and supported.
I think your story is one of the pivot, like I said earlier, but I think listening to this, it's being obedient to the call, right? It didn't look pretty, right? Because you were advocating, the thought wasn't to do something for yourself, it was to support other Black women. And because you were obedient and because you kept going, even though it wasn't the easiest, it wasn't the prettiest, then you're able to now benefit not only yourself, but the people that you were called to help. So that's important, I think, is being obedient to what you're called to do, right?
Yeah. And it's not always easy. You resist things. I'm not, like, there's things where I just want to just do nothing,
Right.
But you have to remind yourself, like, okay, I get to do nothing and then nobody knows what I'm doing, or I get to stay busy or engaged. It's just the mindset things. Instead of like, oh my gosh, I got 3 meetings today. Oh my goodness, 3 people are interested in what I have to say. How blessed am I that they want to know my words? Right. And that makes me excited and keeps me going and all that.
Well, we need you to keep going. So whatever we got to do to keep you going, that's what we got to do. Now, Nikki, you talked about leaving your job. You were at a job that you were unfulfilled with, and you ultimately was put in a position, or not put in a position, but you were at a crossroads where you had to decide, like, what do I do? Which you ultimately decided to leave to work on Buy from a Black Woman full time. What advice would you give to people watching that are working a 9 to 5, but they're unfulfilled and they're wanting to pursue a passion project, or they are wanting to go full in with their side hustle? What advice would you share with the viewers on how to pivot or how to shift that?
So just to clarify, after I got let go, so I got let go, it was an ultimatum, either I stopped buying from Black women or I no longer worked there. And this was at the time where it was still just a blog, which was just bananas. But so I got that, but then I started teaching. So I teach for about 3.5, 4 years. During that period is when I started to build Buy from a Black woman. So I was working on it, going to work, working on it, coming home, all that stuff for those years while I was an active teacher. And then I decided that, okay, this is going to be my last year teaching and I'm going to go all in. So that last school year was my year of doing nothing, like literally just eating the bare minimum. I went nowhere. I did nothing. There was no vacations. My son understood, like, we are just building and saving and saving and saving, because I wanted to go all in on it, but I knew I had to be responsible. So I planned for a year before I actually went all in into it, so I could just have some type of safety net, because I have my son. We like food. It's very good to us. Also, water and lights is my favorite thing. So I needed to make sure all that stuff still stayed on, and the only person who's providing for my son is me. So I had to make sure we were prepared. So that's what I did. And when it was time for the school year to come back and I wasn't preparing to go back, is when it hit me. Like, school is over in May, and the kids start going back like end of July, early August. So June, July, I'm working all of it. So, but then like when August came and I wasn't doing like back to school stuff, that's when it hit me, like, okay, Nick, this is real. Like, this, you have to do this, because guess what? There's nothing else. And that's when it was just like every month things started showing up for me to provide, for me to keep working, for me to keep doing it. And it's just been doing that ever since. So yeah.
Wow. And so what advice would you share for people that are wanting to maybe leave their job to pursue their side hustle or their passion project? What would you say to them?
Yeah. So plan, right? Like, if this is something that you want to do, plan it out. You don't have to be impulsive. And I'm saying this as a single mom who worked a full-time job and raised her teenage son. So like, I would wake up before the world woke up, and I would work on my business. And then when it was time for me and my son to get ready to go to work, to go to school, I did that. At work, when I could find pockets of time to work on my business, I did that. After work, came home, was the mom, dinner, all that jazz that comes with being that. And then I stayed up late. So there was sleep that was sacrificed, social life was sacrificed, friendships were sacrificed, a lot of stuff was sacrificed, but you have to do that if you're serious about doing what it is that you want to do. You can find time, just like we find time to binge watch, a whole bunch of stuff. Those of you who, multitask, I know people who, and I'm one of them, I'll listen to a book while I'm doing some work, or I'll have a podcast going while I'm behind a computer. If you're multitasking and, your life as far as like on your phone scrolling and watching television, multitask with your goals, watch television and work. Like, do until it becomes like your constant habit, but you have to plan. I will never advise anybody, just quit your job. Go with it. I would never advise that. One, because I ain't never gonna pay your bills. So like, I can't tell you to do that.
No, I'm not gonna be the one paying your bills. I'm not telling you to do that. Okay. Okay.
But just plan properly for it, and I promise you, it's going to work out. It will.
Definitely. How much, because you talk a lot about your son, how much of being a mother and motherhood informed how you showed up in your entrepreneurial space?
Yeah. So I'd say my son saved my life, even though I was not, prepared for him or any of that stuff. But he came and he was able to help me with a lot of things. Like I said, I've raised my son by myself, so we have a close relationship. His birthday is coming up. That's why I probably am talking about him so much, because this is like the first, like, he's in Korea, so he's all the way on the other side of the world. So this is like our first Christmas not together in 20 years. So I think it's kind of touching me a little bit. but he has been, being a mom helps me be a business owner. And I tell the women who have young kids, I applaud them, because there's no way that I would be able to run a business and have an 8-year-old. I know that. Like, either something would have gave, either I would have a successful business and my son would not be able to read, or that business would be on hold.
Right.
Yeah. So, so the organization was able to start at a time where he was going into his own adolescence. So that really helped a lot of things. But like, that's my dude. Like, that's my dude.
I love that. I love that you saw a problem, right, with the lack of support for Black women-owned businesses when you created Buy from a Black Woman to address the systemic issues affecting, Black women entrepreneurs. What has been the response, though, from these brands and from these women that you've been able to help? And what struggles have been addressed for them since they partnered up with you?
I mean, as far as, there's just a lot of solution solving that has happened, opposed to just struggles. It's just been like, okay, these things are possible. We know that they are corporations who do actually stand on business, as the kids are saying, and actually help. Right? I'm tapped in, Ashley. I'm tapped in. Don't let I'm tapped in.
Okay, Nick, stand on business. Girl, okay. Listen, the standard.
But no, in all seriousness, like, there has been a number of corporations who have we have worked directly, and who have also worked with other organizations to ensure that Black businesses, Black women business owners, are seen, heard, and supported. We've seen collaborations, we've seen other, pop-ups happening in different marketplaces, different retail spaces. So people understand that it is more than just something that you do because it's the cool look or it's on trend or a hashtag popped up. So people understand what happens when they support and pour into Black women and Black businesses, because if they didn't understand it, they would start pulling back, if that makes any sense. So they know, like, oh, wow, we were really helping, giving them leads. Let's rewind that back, because it was a little bit too good for them. So that's the thing, where it's like they're going into the right direction, and they pull back just when we're just literally about to, put our seatbelt on. So it's just one of those type of things.
I can only imagine, Nikki, because you're booked. You're a mom, even though your son's old, he's still going to be your baby. But you are booked, and you're like holding down all of these different women and these different brands. And I feel like you have not the weight on your back, but you have this almost like superwoman, right? Because it's you that are you're advocating for these business owners, and without your voice, a lot of them wouldn't have the success that they have, or even be introduced and be in the rooms that they're in. I want to find out from you, though, with all of that you have going on, how do you prioritize your mental health? How are you staying, making sure that you're good? Because if you're not good, you can't show up for anybody.
Yeah. And there are some days when I'm just not good. There are some days when I don't show up for anybody, not even myself. And on those days, I give myself grace. I make sure not to have too many of those days, But I mean, like, I'm not Superwoman. Like, right. I'm just Nikki Porcher, an advocate for Black women business owners. I'm here to make sure you all are seen, heard, supported, that we are financially backed, and people understand when you support a Black woman business owner, you support a whole community. That's what I do. Now, there are days where I am like the bomb diggity bomb. See, I'm telling my age with that. And there's some days where it's just like, y'all on y'all own. Good luck. Just because it's a lot of things that Nikki Porcher has to deal with as well, just to show up. So for me, I prioritize my mental health, because in the morning, I make sure I have my time. I do my meditation, I do my reading, I go for my walk. If I'm not walking, then I'm running. I make sure, like, my mornings are mine, so I can ease into my day. I really do not take any meetings before 9:00. I don't take meetings on Mondays and Fridays, because usually I'm doing something on Saturday. So like Sunday and Monday are my Saturday and Sunday, so I like to be able to, I wake up super early, but that's because that's my time. So I wake up at like 4:30, and sometimes I'll meet one of my homegirls, and we'll write together. And sometimes I'm just like, rolling with the homies, I'm chilling and I'm just going to ease into it. So like, that's how, as long as I know I gave myself time today to just be, then we're cool. We're cool. We can get into everything else. And when there's times where it's just like, you know what, I don't have 100% to give, I'll move a meeting. I'm like, you know what, I'm just not able to do this right now because I know I'm not going to show up as my best self. Are you okay if I move this right here, you know, or can I go ahead and do that? Hey, are you okay with just the email? If it's something like that. But it's like, but this is stuff that it took time for me to get here. And then also it took time for me to get here. That makes sense. One, it took time for me to realize this is what I need to do for me to operate as my whole self. And the second version of that is I've been working at this a long time. So it's not like I did this during year one, year two. I had to operate differently because I was in a different space. Even still, there's some meetings that I know I can't move. There's some people where I just have to turn that shit on because it's like, look, we gotta get it done. Right. You know? But at the same time, being able to have that choice takes time. And I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I know I'm not where I started. So it's like, you have to remember that.
I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm not where I started. Nikki, you just dropping none but words today. Okay. Oh, Nick. And I know a meeting that you could resist was the H&M meeting because listen, year 3 of this partnership, you and I met because shout out to Kim Roxy. She's one of your Buy From a Black Woman in your partnership and in your directory. We met at the pop-up a few weeks ago here in LA, and she was like, you got to meet her. And I was like, okay. And I met you and I was like, okay, I need you on the pop. Didn't I say that? I was like,
you did.
And then you were like, okay, can you reach out to my assistant? I was like, oh Lord, not the assistant. Oh,
she's not my assistant. She's not my assistant. She's my publicist. But she takes care of my schedule because if it's left to me to put on the schedule, it won't be on there.
Well, I'm thankful that we got this done because I love that. I walked into H&M and I mean, it was a party going on. I was like, okay. And then I saw Kim, and then everybody, the different brands were set up, a DJ. It was very festive, right? So I want to talk a little bit about this partnership that you have, Buy From a Black Woman with H&M. You said it's on year 3. It's currently, the holiday market is currently happening. I think it'll be in New York this weekend and Atlanta. But spill that tea, because I think that that's so phenomenal what you've been able to, first of all, you created this nonprofit, this mission, this thing that helps and advocates for Black women and their businesses, but you've also been able to, again, put these people in partnerships and connections and in rooms that they wouldn't have had. Talk to us about the partnership with H&M.
So we're having a partnership with H&M and it's really, really great. And I love them and they love us and we just keep going.
Nikki, okay, how did it happen? Give us more.
I mean, without giving everything, because everything ain't everybody's business.
Right. Another word. Everything ain't for everybody, okay?
But it's just, you know, when you are really working and you're really serious about the work you're doing, you don't wait for other people to be serious about the work you're doing. You do it. You're like, you know what, this needs to be done. It's going to happen because I know this needs to be done. I was told this is what I need to do. This is what my community needs. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to believe that more is happening, but I have to act as if, right? I have to know it's impossible to fail. And I'm just going to I'm going to go and let other people catch up. Mm-hmm. So in 2018, I created the Buy From a Black Woman Inspire Tour. And it was really just me in my car, and I drove up to New York and I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive all the way back down to Atlanta, and I'm stopping in states and cities where people tell me I need to go and meet a Black woman or buy from a Black woman. So that month of July, I did that. That's what I did. And I would just stop at places. I would get on social media like, hey, I'm in Philly. Where should I go? Where can I buy from a Black woman? And people will flood my comments and my DMs and like, go here, do this, go there. You need to talk to her. You need to meet this Black woman, my community. So I was like, okay, that's cool. 2019, I'm gonna put some order to this because obviously this might be something. So let me reach out and do some planning and some coordinating and getting together with Black women in different places and all this stuff, and have an actual tour with dates and stops and signups and registrations and all this jazz. And I was like, yeah, this is going to work. I'm like, yo, this tour is going to be super big one day. Like, I see tour buses. I see us doing pop-ups. I see all this is going to have a name attached. All this stuff. Like, I saw it and nobody else saw it, but people showed up and nobody knew what it was going to look like. Not even myself. I just knew this is what I wanted to do. So I did it. And I was like, you know, that's my thing. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to wait for the rest of y'all to catch up because it's happening. Right. It's happening. I don't know how it's happening, where it's coming from, but you know, it's happening. And then when y'all catch up, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been doing this since da da da. Welcome. I'm glad that you're ready to receive.
Right.
So like that was that. 2020, of course, was COVID, so there was no tour. So we did the relief fund, and it was just, you know, partners and people, you know, doing biz, looking for organizations. H&M, they were like, you know what, we want to do something, but we know there's grassroots organizations out there that are doing stuff. So let's not recreate something like so many other people are doing and starting over. Like they reinvented or made, you know, let's find somebody, let's find an organization that's really doing the work that we can help. And that's what that was. So, and it was like, hey, you're here. Guess what? This is what I have. Let's go ahead and see if this works together. And here we are 3 years later.
Girl, first of all, you were driving from Atlanta. You drove from Atlanta to New York, and then ooh, you are a bomb ass, I have to say, Black woman. Girl, Nikki, that is so inspiring. Like, and it's all again for the benefit of Black women. Ooh, girl. Okay, tell people how they can the holiday market that's currently happening in, like I said, New York this weekend, in Atlanta. Tell people where they can go and buy from a Black woman in those places.
Yes. So over the next 2 weekends, December 9th and December 16th, the Buy From a Black Woman Holiday Market presented by H&M will be in New York and also in Atlanta. On New York, December 9th, in New York and Atlanta, December 16th, in 2 locations at the same time. You can find out about the businesses that will be featured during there and also the address on buyfromablackwoman.org/holiday market, or scroll all the way down to the bottom of our website and you can check it out there.
I mean, billboards in Times Square, Buy From a Black Woman with H&M. I mean, how does that feel? Like, to know that, okay, you created a blog and you started this from an idea to like what it has turned into now, because like you said, you're not where you were, you're in a different place now.
Yeah. I mean, it's surreal sometimes, you know, like when my grandmother calls me because somebody told her they saw me on the news, or, you know, saw like, oh, is that your granddaughter's, like that stuff. It's like, oh, or she'll be like, oh, I gave the woman at Target your phone number. She has a business. Like that type of stuff is surreal because my grandmother is promoting and talking about me. Or when my son like sends me a screenshot of a conversation he had with somebody else who asks him like, oh, is this your mom? And he gets to say, oh yeah, that's my mom. You know, like stuff like that, because it's like, I know me, you know, like I know what my life was. I know what I've been through. I know what I have to overcome. So it's like being able to not have to deal with all that and still be able to do this work, to still have been chosen to do this type of work. Like, I don't take that for granted. So it's like one of those things like, okay, I'm going to stay in gratitude because there's a whole different path that I could have went down, that rightly so. Like if I didn't, nobody probably would fault me just because of all the other stuff in my life. But it's like, even despite all that, you showed me, and when I say you, it's the creator, the universe showed me exactly why all that stuff needed to happen in order for me to not only to serve here, but also to receive so much joy and happiness, not just for myself, but for everyone I come across. Like, it's like, actually, like when you talk to a person and they automatically smile, and that makes you automatically smile, and it's like a heartwarming smile. Every single time I talk to a Black woman, I get to experience. Right. How blessed am I?
Right. Wow. I like how you said stay in gratitude. Like, regardless of the journey, how it was, like that was what you were supposed to go through, right? To end up where you are now. I like that perspective. Stay in gratitude because you have a lot to be grateful for, ma'am.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Congratulations are in order to you because Buy from a Black Woman was recently named as Organization of the Year at the 20th Annual Stevie Awards for Women in Business. And for those that don't know, the Stevie Awards are the most prestigious business awards program in the world. And you all were selected, listen to this, out of more than 1,600 entries from 26 countries. Listen, staying in gratitude. But look at you. You are like doing all of the big things. You're being recognized for all of this work. Like,
well, no. Black women are being recognized for all of their work. All I'm doing is just pulling the curtain back so people can see it. That's it. This is all Black women doing this stuff. I just get to show people what Black women are doing.
well, like, you're the vessel, though. So if it worked for you, if you hadn't obeyed that call and you weren't the vessel, then this work wouldn't even be spotlighted or happening. So,
but if Black women are not doing the work, though, because that's what Black women can still do the work and nobody talks about them or share them. They'll still be doing it. But if Black women stop doing the work, not only will I be out of a job, trends will fall. The economy would collapse. You know, like all this other stuff would stop if Black women stopped. Right. So I am blessed that I get to share and show people what Black women are doing. I don't take for granted that I am working. I work very hard and I recognize that and I understand that. And I want people to know that I work very hard. However, I would not have anything to work for if Black women didn't keep believing in themselves. They didn't keep showing up in themselves. They couldn't, if they stopped following their dreams, you know, like I wouldn't have anything to do. So I'm grateful that Black women, because they show up for me. So I'm going to continue to show up for them because they keep showing up for themselves.
Nikki, Nick, that's why you are loved by the community, by Black women. And I'm going to just reiterate, you've been championing Black women since 2015 when this was just an idea to now in your everyday work. So you do deserve your flowers. So I just want you to accept those flowers.
Thank you.
Because you deserve those. And I love that you receive the flowers, but you're always in a constant state of giving and making sure to shine a light on the Black women in your community, so much so that you even created your own award show as a platform to recognize these businesses. Why was that important for you?
Have you ever received an award, Ashley?
I have.
For what did you award for?
I received an award for my work as a journalist. I received an award for when I was a stylist. I received an award for that work. So, yeah.
How many Black women journalists and how many Black women stylists do you know who have received the same awards?
Not many.
Black women don't get awards.
Mm-hmm.
The everyday Black woman who's really pouring into her community, who's showing up every day, they don't get awards. Black women deserve awards, so we created an award show for them.
Talk to us about the award show.
So the award show, the Buy from Black Women Business Awards, we're quoting into the Dellas, named after my grandmother, Idella. So it's the Dellas. She's the first Black woman business owner I ever knew. She wasn't a traditional business owner, but she showed me what community was. She showed me, what it meant to barter, what it meant to use your goods and services to help your family, to make money, to live. So it was only right that we named the award after her. So we've been able to grow the awards from being on Zoom on to being in person. And this year we were able to air them on national television on Thanksgiving Day during prime time. So it's like one of those things where, we wait for other people to catch up. Like we know this is what Black women deserve. This is what Black women need. and we're going into the direction to make sure that everybody sees it. These Black women being able to do an award show, have an award show, come to a Black-owned television studio in a place and understand we're going to Florida. And the reason why we're going to Florida is because Black economics still matter in Florida, despite what's happening on a higher level. We have to make sure we keep pouring into our Black community. Our Black economic community, the Black women who live there who can just pop up and leave because, it's no longer convenient to live a certain place. So we were able to go ahead and send that message across. We used only Black businesses for the whole execution. We were at the Black-owned television station. And they were able to, get on stage and give an acceptance speech that then aired on national television. Some of these women, this is probably the only award they received, hopefully not. But for a lot of them, this is their first time ever receiving an award. And to be able to have your first award be recognized by your community because your community voted for you. So that's how you receive, that's how you win, when you go out and you get your community involved. So now your community loves you and they care for you and they believe in you so much that they went out their way to make sure that you were awarded for your idea, for something that you thought about. And now you get to tell the whole world how grateful you are and what you're doing and about your business. Yeah, nobody fucking with me.
Right, Nick. Ain't nobody messing with you. Nobody is messing with Nikki Porcher. Listen, Nick, you're intentional, right? Everything
Yes,
for you to
everything.
have it in Florida, for you to have it the Black owned, like everything is intentional. And I love that about you. I just have to say again, thank you for your obedience. Yes, Black women, the work that they are doing is important and we support that obviously, but thank you for just being obedient to shine the spotlight on these women and what they're doing. Now you conducted a survey after the pandemic to understand, right, the effects and challenges of COVID-19 and what it had, and that effects that it had on the Black women business owners. And now you're undertaking a new study that it's an updated study, if you will, to address, when Black-owned business owners and what they face since, and along with social justice. Because here's the thing, I feel like when the pandemic happened, a lot of people were singing from the rooftops, what can we do to help Black people? What can we do to help Black businesses, Black female-owned? I felt like there was a lot of support, but I felt like a lot of it has died down, right? It's kind of going back to business as usual. Can you talk to us a little bit about the survey and where can people go and participate?
Yeah, so you can go to our website. Again, on the homepage, there's a button right there for you to participate in the survey. We're still undergoing the survey. We want to make sure we were going to cut it right before the fourth quarter, but we're realizing just how impactful the numbers are this last quarter of the year. So we're just making sure that we collect all of the information needed for that. So with that being said, the survey is on our website and we're still figuring it out, but we're trying to understand more so why the drastic decrease in support and the income and the sales. Like, where did it shift exactly? Like, at what point was it like it just stopped? I shared on my thread today, and there was another Black woman who followed up with it, because I was like, June 3rd, 2020 was a day for Black women business owners. And the follow-up was like, the fact that we can pinpoint the exact date it started is so telling. It is like exactly, like we know exactly when it started because it had not been a thing prior to June 3rd, 2020, which is just ridiculous and just absurd. So trying to figure out exactly, was it a gradual thing? Did it all just stop all at the same time? Who were the people who said they were going to support and never did? Are the ones who stopped halfway when they realized we stopped looking, or they think we stopped looking? So a lot of more things that are coming out of the finding that we weren't prepared for, but now that we're reshifting it, we'll be able to give those answers.
Definitely. So Nick, shifting gears a little bit, do you have like a favorite quote that you live by?
Yes. Maya Angelou, I'm doing my best because I'm counting on you, counting on me.
What does that mean for you?
So it's like, I'm going to keep showing up so that, I will be there, that I'm a reliable source, that I got you. And as long as I'm operating in a place of giving, I know I'm going to always receive. We get to give. So if I'm giving, I'm never going to lack. It's always going to be refilled. So if I know that I'm there for you, there's going to be a community that's going to show up for me, that's going to be there for me. So I have to act as though, like, okay, this girl needs me. Let me act so I'm always prepared for that. I'm counting on you, counting on me.
Ooh. Okay, I'm taking that one into 2024 too. Okay.
I'm sorry, Ashley, but you see, I sound ridiculous, right?
You're ridiculous, like, but listen, Nick, I'm telling you, forward by me. Okay. I'm gonna remind you of that. In all things, that all that you do and all that you have going on, what brings you the most joy?
Things like this, connecting directly with Black women. Like, there's so much admin work behind the computer work, but being able to see Black women, to be in community with Black women, to know that, Black women feel seen, heard, and supported, that the work is working, that, it is helping, and that other Black women are pouring into other Black women. This is what brings me joy. This is what makes me, you asked me earlier, how do I keep going? This is how I stay going. Because I'm like, yeah, this is a feeling that you don't want to lose, and you want everyone to experience. It's like one of the things, like, oh my gosh, I went to this Buy from a Black Woman event. You have to go to the next one, because when I went, I felt like this, and I was able to do that, and da 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 da. Like, that feeling of contagiousness of being seen, heard, and supported, and like just telling other people about it so they can experience. That's my favorite part. That's what brings me joy.
You bring us joy. You so much joy today. Listen, I'm so glad I was obedient and got this set up. And thank you to your assistant who was obedient too. Thank you, God. But we want to make sure that you also feel seen, heard, and supported in everything that you do. How can people show up for you to support you in Buy from a Black Woman and everything else that you have going on? Tell us where we and how we can support you.
Yes, of course, you can always donate. Go to buyfromablackwoman.org, hit that support the mission button, make a donation. After you do that, head over to the Buy from a Black Woman directory, figure out what item you can replace in your house today with a Black woman product, something that you use every day, so that you're always supporting, you're always buying, you're always using something from a Black woman business owner, whether it's a product or a service. Just start with one and then gradually keep doing that until your house is filled with nothing but Black woman products. So there's that. That's two. Next, head over and follow us on all socials. It is Buy from a Black Woman. All roads lead to Rome. Just type it in. It'll take you everywhere you need to go. Also, my personal is a Black woman, and you can find me on a Black woman website, a Black woman podcast. There's a theme here. So, that's that. And of course, if you do nothing else with your day, make sure you go out and buy from a Black woman.
Yeah. Nikki, you do her CTA call to action like flawless. Okay. I love it. Nikki, thank you so much for doing this. I truly appreciate you. But before you go, we have to play a quick game.
Okay.
Fire. We're not done yet. Okay. So what 5 people would you bring with you if you were stuck on a desert island?
Nikki. I'm stuck. I don't want 5 people with me.
She's gonna bring herself, y'all. She's just gonna bring herself. Okay, what's your favorite holiday?
New Year's Eve. I love New Year's Eve. I love the getting to dress up. I love the celebration of what the year was, the possibility of what's coming next, being with your favorite people, listening to your favorite songs, and just being excited.
Yes. New Year's Eve. I'm excited about that too. Okay, this is a funny one, and that's so funny that we were talking about it earlier. If your life were a book, what would it be called, Nikki?
Utterly Ridiculous with Nikki Porcher, forward by Ashley.
Forward by Ashley. I love it. I love it. Okay, what's your go-to meal to cook when you are short on time?
Go-to meal to cook when I'm short on time. Oh my gosh, I have 2. Okay, so I make like a sweet potato black bean bowl over brown rice with like some salsa and guac. So
and
that
short on time.
Yeah, because I always keep sweet potatoes in my refrigerator.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So and beans, I don't take none of the heat of them You know, I'm not going like to the popping beans. It's a can of beans.
Okay. What's the second one?
It's just like cauliflower buffalo wings. Like I'll just get some cauliflower, season them, and air fry them.
What words do you tell yourself when you're trying to boost, when you're trying to like make yourself feel like Beyonce? What's your
You got this, Black woman.
and you do. Best piece of advice you've received.
Oh my gosh, a lot. I got a lot of wise people in my life. The first one that comes to mind, I know, is my mom said, only crackheads don't wear earrings. So like that has stayed with me my whole life. Basically, make sure when you leave the house, you look presentable because you never know who you're gonna run into.
Baby, a black mama is gonna listen, lay us down with a word. Okay? Yes, mama. Okay, finish this sentence. I am
A Black woman business owner.
I love it. And you are. And we thank you for it. Nikki, thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you so much. So this will go live tomorrow. It'll be
Okay.
on
Oh,
podcast.
that's fast.
Okay. Look, we're moving and shaking around here. Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, but Nikki, thank you so much. Let me know what I can do to support. I know what you said I'm going to do all of those things, but if there's anything else I can do to help
Okay, thank you.
new year, let me know.
And likewise, if there's stuff that I can do,